Okay, I think they fixed it. Let me explain. I know this is a weird way to start the video. Now, we are going to be going through the patch notes, but I just want to talk about a massive change that they made, and it feels so much better. So, Civilization 7 always had this problem, and I could never understand why it was until this patch. The problem was always in the tech tree. Why was that? It was because water wasn't balanced. Water was terrible. Water was the worst start you possibly could have. And it meant that all these civilizations, all these leaders that were focused about playing water were just relegated to the bench that never got played. Which is why when Blackbeard was announced, I was like, meh, it's another water leader. And then I played it and I realized, hold on, the tech tree's been completely changed. They've made it so that previously when you had the two production options, you had the brickyard, you had the saw pit, they were both production options, and then you had your fishing key, which was a food option for water, but you just never had production. Well, they've changed it, and it makes so much sense now that now that you see it. Now you've got the harbor, which gives production, and yes, it means water is now viable, which means all of these leaders, all of these new civilizations are now actually viable, and it's opened up a huge portion of this game that just didn't exist before. I had so much fun. I just did this entire playthrough. You're going to watch through it now. I just had so much fun playing in this game. So anyway, look, let's get through to the patch notes. That's the start of the video. It's changed, and it's definitely for the better. So this here is our video. I'll begin it right now, and let's get into the patch notes, because we have got ourselves, we've got a beautiful spawn here as well, by the way. If you would like to play this, I'll leave a link in the description to where you can join the Discord, where we've got an entire channel just dedicated to all the seeds and spawns that we've had. We're playing here as Edward of the Tongan civilization. Two new aspects of Civ 7 that have just come, and of course have come for free in this new update as well. So just going over all the bonuses that we have got. Now, of course, today we will also be, of course, looking at the patch notes. If you'd like to take a look with me, let me just bring them up onto the screen here. Now, of course, I'm not going to ask you to read them. I'll read them for you. Let's get into it and take a look at what we've got. Ladies and gentlemen, hi Civ fans. Update 1.3 is rolling out for all platforms, and it's bringing your seas to life, genuinely. This update introduces the harbour, privateer, new ocean resources and terrain, and updates to naval combat, giving you more tools, strategies, and freedoms on the high sea than ever before. Alongside these changes, we've continued our efforts to balance various areas of Civ 7, this time focusing in on civs. I didn't even know that. I'm looking forward to their balance pass at civilizations, but I can just tell you right now, it felt so good playing a water civilization. Bro, the yields that you get on these water tiles, oh my god, dude, it feels... I don't know about you guys, but there's nothing that makes me more excited in that kind of way than yields. Oh my god, give me some big water yields and... that's all you need to say. Anyway, the Tides of Power collection launches with this update, and it is free to claim for all Civ 7 players until the 5th of January. Claim it during this period, and it's yours to keep permanently at no cost. I'll skip through a little bit. If you want to read it, I'll go ahead and just flash it up on the screen for you as we find ourselves another natural wonder, Vihren. As we shared in our recent update check-in, we're shifting into a lighter update period over the holidays to test upcoming features, blah, 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 blah. Let's get to the good stuff. Come on, we want to know. What is there? Feature spotlight. So you've got the harbour and the privateer. So this was, this is essentially what we were talking about in the sense that there's now an option for production. You have the fishing key, and it works the same as kind of like the granary. You know how when you start off, you can just build the granary? Well, when you start off now, you can just build the fishing key. You just have a fishing key. And I think this is such a wonderful solution. Well done to the devs for finding this. And it seems so obvious now that we look back on it. It's like, oh, well, of course that makes sense. But like, we've played Civ for a long time right now without this, and, you know, it took a guy with a big brain to think this one up. And the thing is, it seems like such a simple little change, but it really changed. It changes so much of the dynamic of the game, because at the end of the day, we want to play Civ to feel big and to feel strong. And you know that at the end of the day, when you're not playing optimally, at least for me, when I'm not playing in the optimal way, it takes that away. I'm like, yeah, I could be playing with all of my mines right now and looking incredibly like all I care about is just having 50 production in this city. And anyway, that's look, that's it. Anyway, let's get into some of the changes that they've made. So new coastal resources. Oh, sorry, wrong button. New coastal resources and ocean terrain. So with much more activity on the high seas, we also took a look at the actual seas with this update. We're adding more resources, 2 new types of marine terrain, and the ability to work ocean tiles in modern. Both internally and from players, we've heard the desire for more variety in coastal resources. We're adding 3 new water-based resources: cowrie, crabs, and turtles. And 1 new land-based resources, pitch. We've also tweaked resource generation to ensure more variety in coastal resources, as well as increased consistency of resources age to age. Additionally, we've introduced 2 new terrain features with this updates: atolls and lotus. Atolls are movement-stopping terrain in the open ocean, like vegetated or rough terrain or rough tiles on land, and introduce more positioning in naval combat scenarios. Naval units also get a defensive bonus when stationed in atolls. Lotus appear only in lakes and replace reefs that used to appear there. These new terrain features provide extra yields when worked, and we've tweaked reefs to match, so keep an eye out for valuable coastal and lakeside settlement spots. Finally, we've added the ability to work ocean tiles in modern, similar to how mountains can be worked. The default improvement on them is fishing boats, so be sure to build your fishing keys and harbors. So let's get into it. They've also changed naval combat. So we're going to dive into this a little bit. We're not going to go too deep in the weeds with the naval combat update, because I'll be honest with you, naval combat, it's kind of a new thing for me, because anytime there was water involved, I just wasn't interested, man. And now it's like, this update, they've actually done it. I can't I'm genuinely speechless, man. I didn't think they could do it. They're pulling this game back. They're trying their best, and hey, you're giving away DLC for free, you put the game on sale for 35%, you release a patch like this, mate, I tell you what, you're ticking boxes. Anyway, what's a sea-themed update and content collection without great naval combat? Prior to this update, all naval combat was melee combat, but now we've added ranged units. I'll be honest with you, I didn't even know that all naval combat was melee combat. I thought there was a ranged attack, but maybe I'm just crazy? Anyway, I must just be crazy. I swear there was a ranged attack. Anyway, they've broken naval units up into 2 types, light and heavy. Light units, faster melee units with increased vision. They excel at scouting, ahead for heavy units, performing flanking attacks and revealing more of the battlefield. The updated roster includes the privateer in the exploration age and the ironclad cruiser and destroyer in the modern age. For heavy units, they are slower with limited vision. They're capable of devastating attacks that can quickly cripple enemy fleets or coastal districts if left unchecked. Heavy units use melee attacks against other naval units and in antiquity, and are ranged in exploration and modern. The updated roster includes the galley and the quadrireme in the antiquity age, the cog, carrack, and galleon in exploration, and the frigate, dreadnought, and battleship in the modern era. Overall, these changes should make your fleets feel more like fleets, and conquering the seas will feel like much more strategic and a deliberate endeavor. For a deeper dive into these updates, check out the latest from the dev article here, and I've got a nice little link. I'll leave a link in the description to where you can actually view this entire patch notes if you'd like to view that. Let's get on to the strategic balance pass, as I can see some very familiar icons here. Oh, Mississippians, or don't you hurt my Mississippians. Let's go in and check what they say. When we spoke about balance in update 1.2.5, we mentioned that it was one step in a longer process. Our goal, as is true with so many changes we make, is to make your choices matter more, including making your choice of leader and civ be a significant part of your overall strategy and gameplay. While we're content with the power level of our leaders for now, with this update and the next, we'll be tweaking several civs to get them more in line with that goal. This balance pass is full of buffs, but some overperforming civs like the Mississippians and the Qing have been nerfed to bring them in the same power level as the rest of the roster, and I will agree, like Mississippians absolutely overpowered. Oh man, the food plus the gold, just the tempo, oh my god. You'll also notice that we're leaning much harder into slicing abilities into narrower bonuses focused on each civ's identity. Egypt's new bonuses mostly apply in the desert, and some of Axum's updated abilities lean heavier into requiring coastal settlements. Okay, I do like that. This lets us make some of those bonuses more powerful, as they require you to lean into the civ's identity during gameplay. I do like that. That is a good change. We're planning on applying this approach to the whole game as we continue our balance pass, and would love your feedback on how it feels. So I'm very much of the opinion that if everything's overpowered, nothing's overpowered, right? So as long as all the bonuses are strong, and as long as you can look at a civilization and be like, okay, I can see how this could be broken, then it's fine. As long as you can do that for every civ, right? Like just not the Mississippians only or the Mayans only. Okay. So anyway, let's get into it and talk a little bit about it. We're diving straight into the update. I say straight in. We're 9 minutes through this one. It's time for us to dive straight in to the update notes. So first and foremost, we've got the harbor, a new Antiquity Age warehouse, water building, available to all civs that unlocks on sailing. So now we've got 5 Antiquity Age, well, technically 4 Antiquity Age. Actually, we've got the fishing quay, the harbor, the granary, the saw pit, the brickyard, 5. And technically the altar is not a warehouse building, but you can chuck it in there with them. I'll let you. Anyway, so it unlocks at sailing, so it's very early on, and as a water building, it can only be placed on coastal navigable river tiles, has the same placement restrictions as a fishing quay. Like other warehouse buildings, the harbour is available in towns, provides a base of 1 production and a +1 production bonus on fishing boats. Naval units will default to spawning on the harbour, similar to the barracks for land units. So just to talk a little bit about this building and why it's so strong. So when it came to Civ 7, it took a while for us to work out initially, but one of the key discoveries early on was that production was the king. It didn't matter if you went into culture or went into science or food or anything. The king was production, because if you had production, then everything else would come quickly after it. And that quickly led to us min-maxing builds that focused on production. And it meant that because of that, a water spawn meant you only had access to the fishing quay, which was a building focused on food. And because of that, water spawns were relegated to the sideline. We weren't interested in playing with water, or at least, you know, if you're super hyper competitive. I'm sure many people were, and that's absolutely okay. It depends on the way that you like to play. But for me, as a hyper competitive individual, I was like, and I know it's hyper competitive against the AI, but still at the end of the day, you know, I always want to try and min-max. Anyway, it just meant that you couldn't play it. Well, now all of a sudden you can, because you've got that ability to go into production. Love it. Absolutely love it. The other great thing is, like, it affects, like, it's affecting the base tile as well. And obviously there's just so many water tiles when you spawn, and like depending on the civilization that you can pick, you can kind of guarantee that you're going to have water tiles. So if you really want to play into that way, you absolutely can. So I am so interested. I love this change a lot, and I'm kind of curious to see with regard to just like where things go in like what's better. Is like a water spawn now better than a mining spawn, or like a rough start? I need to find out. I need to go back. We're gonna, and I think that's sort of like what I love about this update is I can feel my passion coming back for Civ 7, and that's always a good sign. Anyway, new unit. We've got the Privateer, an exploration age light naval unit available to all civs that unlocks at heraldry. It's a melee focused unit, very weak ranged and bombard attacks. It has the pirate ability. Additionally, when the Privateer kills a unit, it gains 100% of its combat strength as gold. So the new unit ability is the pirate ability. It allows the unit to cross the borders of other civilizations, open borders, alliance, or war, and you can plunder trade routes of non-allied civs without war. I will just warn you, though, if you do this, it will upset them. I'll just say that. Units can attack non-allied units without war. Defeating a unit this way causes a slight reduction in relationship with the civ to the unit belonged to, and attacking an independent power this way causes them to become hostile. Indeed, it does. Let's take a look at what changes they've made to AI, because there are a whole bunch of them. So let me flash them up on the screen there for you if you want to pause. So AI now fully uses all sanctions against other players. When an AI proposal to form an alliance is accepted, the alliance is now properly created between the two leaders. AI no longer fails to use the established airbase ability. AI no longer fails to attack air bases with air units. AI now more consistently builds naval units. Addressed a reported issue where AI would not properly select celebrations, and addressed a reported issue where AI could still receive free walls in multiple settlements when a custom difficulty game set free walls to 0. I didn't know about that last one. So overall, just some pretty basic changes there, just some little bug fixes around the edge, and most importantly, making it so that they consistently build naval units, especially now that we're going to be on the water a lot more. We're going to be swimming a bit more here. It's good to hear that AI will actually consistently build naval units, so good changes. Let's talk about the meat and potatoes here. Some combat changes are also coming through. Actually, I'm not going to go too deep into the combat changes. I mainly want to go into the balance changes for civilizations, because I know that they are doing civilization balance overhauls, as they specifically mentioned, strategic balance pass. So I want to get to that. We will come back to combat. We will come back to the environment. I'll flash those up on the screen if you just want to take a quick look here. Let's talk a little bit. Let's scroll all the way down. Leaders and civs. Okay, all right, here we go. Oh gosh. Oh, they done it. Oh my lord, there is so much stuff in here. Okay, let's focus on the antiquity stuff. So we've got Achaemenid Persia. So Persia's a beloved civ, but we got feedback that they felt weak in areas outside of combat that we wanted to buff them. Now, they have increased culture from their unique improvements, as well as a little more healing. Finally, we renamed them to better clarify their identity as the Achaemenids. Interesting choice here, not just going as Persia, because Persia is something that you can very easily identify straight away. Whereas Achaemenid Persia, well, now there's a word that I've never seen before in front of the word Persia. What does that mean? Anyway, their unique, what's it called? Unique improvement, the Paradisa. +2 and 1 culture, and 5 healing for military units in a settlement with a Paradisa. Cannot be adjacent to another Paradisa. So it was previously just 1 culture and 1 gold. So now it's 2 culture and 1 gold. And it gives that healing as well. So now it's also quite decent on defense because it gives that healing for military units. So I'm assuming the way that it works is as long as you're within the borders of a settlement that's got a Paradisa, it will just give you that extra 5 healing, which is quite nice when you think about just how little healing actually happens. It's like, what, between 15 and 20 when you're within your own borders, excuse me. Next up, we've got satrapies. Which is their tier 2 unique. So if we think about their unique culture tree, it's their unique civic satrapies. So it gives so previously it gave 1 settlement limit, plus it gave the Paradisa an extra happiness from adjacent quarters. It still gives that 1 settlement limit, but now it gives 1 culture and 1 happiness. So they're making it a little bit more of a culture-focused civilization. And then we've got Barzis, which was previously just a tier 1 of the uniques, and it gave 5 gold for every civ that you had captured a settlement from. Now it's 5 gold, 2 happiness, and 2 culture for every civilization you've captured a settlement from. So very much you want to go out, you want to start wars, and you only just want to take 1 settlement, and that's it. That's what Barzis is giving you. So definitely a little bit more of a focus on culture and gold, which is obviously a welcome addition here. For the civilization. It definitely did feel weak. I think the strongest part of this civ was the fact that it did have access to the 2 settlement limits, even though it did come quite late. That's one of the things to remember, is that when it came to Persia, their 2nd settlement limit came very late in their unique civ tech tree. And because of that, it was quite rare to get to, because the tech tree overall was just very bad. It probably still is quite bad. But the extra culture is definitely going to mean you get through the tech tree faster now. So that's definitely a good change. Especially because with satrapies now, you get an extra +1 culture, and the Paradisa also has a higher base of 1 culture. So you're getting an extra 2 culture for every Paradisa that you've got. So if you've got 10 of them, that's an extra 20 culture that you wouldn't have had before the update. So definitely makes a big difference. And I can see Persia potentially being quite strong, definitely on offense with the Immortal and on defense with their healing from the Paradisa. So very interesting design choices, but overall the right direction. Axum, we've got another civilization here for antiquity. Let me bring this up on the screen so you can have a quick look. Axum's changes are a good example of our new approach of giving stronger bonuses on narrower effects. By leaning into the emphasis on coastal settlements, we get to buff the numbers of some of the abilities. Remember, a coastal settlement is a settlement with its city center adjacent to the coast. So, their unique ability was previously +2 gold on resources. Now, it's +3 gold on resources in coastal settlements. So very specifically saying, hey, if you're going to expand, we want you to expand around the water. Okay. Next up, we've got Tanqua, which adds an extra 2 gold to the trade route. Now, I don't know what Tanqua is. I'd have to double check. I don't know whether or not it's a unique policy that they've got access to or a unique civic that just unlocks it automatically. So I'd have to double check that, but obviously the more gold from trade, the better. Especially considering their other bonuses that are very much focused around trade. Periplus of the Etherean Sea, I hope I pronounced that correctly, I probably haven't, previously gave 1 gold on quarters adjacent to coast. Now it gives 1 gold on districts adjacent to coast. So the key difference there being districts versus quarters. A quarter is 2 districts together on a tile, whereas a district is just a single, actually now that I think about it, it's just district. It's not urban district and it's not rural district? Is it just all districts? Are we just giving 1 gold to everybody? Is this empire just the golden empire now? Is that what I'm seeing? I think it might be. Can you guys double check that for me? You seeing this? +1 gold on districts adjacent to coast. So does that just mean if you're next to a coast or if you are a coast, you get the gold? Maybe. So does that mean if I've got a resource that's adjacent to coast, I get 4 gold from it? Bro, we gotta go play Axum. These civilizations are gonna be the richest civ by far. Wow, okay. Next up, we've got Monumentum Adulatanum. Culture and happiness buildings gain +1 adjacency, +1 culture adjacency for the Hawalti. Previously, it was just that the altar and the monument gained a culture adjacency with the Hawalti. Hawalti, sorry. That's their unique improvement that they got, which is very similar to the Paradisa. So then we've got the Book of Himyarites, where you gain a free merchant. So previously, it was just the DAO gets the Swift keyboard. I'm just going to show you what it says here. The Swift keyboard, apparently. It gets the Swift keyboard. I thought that was just an app that you downloaded on Android back in 2010. Turns out the DAO also got it back in the 1800s. Not 1800s, probably like what the... probably like 200 BC. May this please the people's tradition. So anyway, it's you now get a free merchant, and the DAO gets +1 movement and ignores zone of control. So definitely a lot more bonuses, and really quite themed around water. As they were saying, I mean, this is exactly what they said, right? It's a great example of the new approach that they're having. I like it. I like it a lot. I will just say right now, the one game that you get out of 99 where you spawn in the middle of a desert with no water is not going to be a fun game, and is probably going to have to be a re-roll. Just hope that it isn't in your multiplayer game in a competitive tournament somewhere, because that's not going to be fun. Of course, Axum's got a bias towards coastal spawns, but you never know. You never know. Anyway, let's take a look at the next civ. I'm tempted to go through Chola, but Chola is obviously not in the Antiquity Age, and we'll obviously come back to it. So let's talk about Egypt. Dev note. We got a lot of feedback that Egypt offered an exciting gameplay style focusing on wonders, but often failed to deliver or was rough to transition into exploration, or more definitely true. We leaned heavily into the desert and navigable river theme and gave Egypt some hefty buffs. Okay, so you're telling me we're going to do some navigable river Egypt spawns? I like the sound of it. So first and foremost, we've got Gifts of Osiris, which used to be +1 production on navigable rivers. Now it's +2 production on improvements and districts on navigable and minor river. Oh my lord. Can you imagine this? Okay, imagine this also with the pyramids, which gives an extra +1 production and +1 gold. Yo, +3 production. So if you've got, oh my god, can you imagine that? And it's improvements and districts. So you could have minor rivers with districts on them, and then, oh my, okay. All right, now we're talking. Riches of the Duat. 15%, was previously 15% production towards wonders. Now it's 15%, 15% production towards wonders, doubled for wonders in desert terrain, and +2 production on wonders in desert terrain. I love this. I love this. As I said, if everything's overpowered, nothing's overpowered, right? Except your enemy. Then they're always overpowered. Wow. So you've got 15% production towards wonders, which is going to 30 production towards wonders. And then if that wonder is in desert terrain, it will also get +2 production when it's finished. That's sick. Bro, this is going to be a powerhouse of production. We're just going to be rushing. This is good. Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait. Mastaba. That is one of their unique buildings for their unique quarter. It's got a culture base. Previously, it was a +1 gold adjacency for desert tiles. Now it is a +1 gold adjacency for desert tiles and navigable rivers. Hold on. Navigable rivers can also be desert tiles. Does that mean we get a +2 gold adjacency for desert tiles that are navigable rivers? Am I right in saying that? I'm pretty sure you get like navigable rivers that are desert or navigable rivers that are tropical, right? I'll have to double check that, but that makes me excited. Very much. God, this is going to be a silly civ. I'm going to love this civ. This is so much better. This is absolutely so much better, because the other thing is it really allows skill expression, right? Because people, like, what is skill expression? Skill expression is the ability to pull the skill or pull like something out of, I don't even know, dude. My words are terrible these days. The early onset dementia is really killing me here. I'll say that. But, skill expression is your ability to take something that's difficult and then pull something magical out of it, right? There you go. That's that's the best I can give you. Anyway, I see a lot of skill expression with this civilization. There is a huge potential with this civilization. In fact, both Egypt as well as Axum. Bro, devs are actually cooking. This is legit. This is so good. I wonder if it's just me. Am I the only one that's going to look at this and be like, this is sick? Or are people actually going to see this and be like, hey, this is good now? I'm kind of curious. Anyway, Mortuary Temple, their other building in the Unique District. It used to just give a +1 gold adjacency for desert tiles and navigable rivers. Now, if I remember correctly, it only just gave that to those, like you'd only get a +6 if I remember. Now it gives +1 happiness adjacency for navigable rivers, and you get +1 culture adjacency for wonders. So kind of, it's worse, but I guess your master bar previously, I don't know. I would definitely take the gold. Anyway, Light of Amun-Ra, which was a previous Tier 1 Civic, I wish they'd say like Tier 1 Unique Civic, previously gave 5 gold on the palace and +1 settlement limit. And now it gives 2 gold and 2 culture on the palace and wonders, and gives the +1 settlement limit. Okay, all right, that's pretty cooking. That is good. 2 gold and 2 culture out of the gates. I would take the 2 culture over the 3 gold any day, and the fact that you get them on wonders. So now you're telling me I can build wonders in the desert and get culture, and I can get production on the. Oh my god, this is going to be so good. Akhet +2 food. Let me pull it up on the screen. We've got Akhet. +2 food on improvements and districts on navigable rivers and minor rivers. Previously it was 1 food. And then we've got +1 culture on improvements and districts on navigable and minor rivers, +1 culture on... Bro. You know, remember what I was saying earlier about how yields feel really good, right? When you got big yields, like look at the yields that are in the game right now. 3 production, 3 food, 1 science. We're at turn 43. And this is what our yields are like. This feels great. This feels so good. And I just guarantee you playing Egypt is actually going to feel incredible, because previously Egypt was just meh. But now it is going to be so good. I can't wait to play Egypt, bro. I can't wait to get my hands on this civilization. Anyway, let's move on to our next civilization that we've got. We have got the Mayans. So the Reign of Chark ability used to unlock the Kuna and used to give +1 science adjacency for vegetated tiles. It gave the altar +1 science adjacency. Now it gives +2 science if placed on a vegetated tile. Okay, so basically it just gives it the same bonus that already existed. So, no, that's for the altar specifically. So before you wanted to place your altar adjacent to vegetated tiles, and now you want to place your altar on a vegetated tile. The other thing to note is that it also caps the amount of science that you could get. You used to be able to get +6 sciences with Reign of Chark, because the bonus, like it was incredible for the altar. You wouldn't even need to make libraries or the Kuna. It was incredible. But anyway, okay. So the Mississippians. Let's see what they say. How did they destroy? Oh no. This was like the whole reason it was broken. Shell-tempered pottery. What did they do? Food. So previously, all buildings gained a +1 gold adjacency for resources. So basically, think of the same way that your library works, exactly the same, except you also get 1 gold on every building in your empire. Okay. So now, it's food, gold, and warehouse buildings gain a +1 gold adjacency for resources. They have massacred my boy. They have absolutely massacred my boy. And rightfully so. He deserved it. I'm sorry, Mississippi. It was beautiful what we had, but it was way too overpowered. Mississippi was so good. And they had so much going for them as well. You got to remember, Mississippi was just ridiculous in the early game because of their burning arrow, right? Like, you couldn't attack them, and then when they decided to attack you, you couldn't defend against them. And then you have shell-tempered pottery, which was quite literally the best tradition in the game. Because as your empire grew bigger and as you had more buildings, you got more gold. And it was just like the most... You always had gold throughout the game no matter what. And like, you were talking like 70, 80 gold per turn at like turn 40. It is bonkers. Bonkers, and deserve to be nerfed. Good on the devs, thank you. Look, some things are fun, some things are broken. Sometimes those two things cross over, and this was definitely the case with shell-tempered pottery. Anyway, it got what it deserved. Nothing else to go over in the Age of Antiquity. Now, I will flash up all of these changes on the screen if you'd like to pause. We've got Spain, we've got Songhai, we've got the Qing dynasty, and Prussia. Actually, let's take a look at the Qing, because they specifically mentioned that these guys needed to get changed So let's take a look and see what they did. So the Kangxian Shengshu, apologies, my Chinese is not the best. So it previously was 4 gold, 3 culture, and 2 influence, but -1 science from imported resources. So now they've changed it so that it's now 4 gold, 4 culture, and 2 influence, but -4 science per trade route. So there's a much higher consequence. The other thing to note is that it's per trade route, which basically means as long as you've got places you can trade with, you don't care how many resources there are. I mean, by the exploration era, places are starting to get like 5-6 resources online. That's kind of normal. So it was definitely pretty strong. The other thing to note is that we've got open customs, which is their tier 1 unique civic that's been changed. Previously, it was 2 culture for every imported resource with +1 settlement limit. And now it is +1 culture for every imported resource and +1 settlement limit. So I'm not going to say a nerf. I'm not even going to say a redesign. I mean, there are ways that you could see it as a nerf. It's a design change, but on a very minor level. So that's it. Other than that, we've also got changes to Prussia. We've got changes to Hawaii, changes to Great Britain, and changes to the Chola. So we're not going to go over those. Just keep in mind, I do plan to actually play Exploration and Modern once I find my passion for Civ 7 again, okay? As I said, I can feel it starting to come back. And once I get into the game, once I get into my groove, then I'll probably start playing them. But as I said, like by far, the part of Civ 7 that I enjoy the most is Antiquity. And because of that, that's what I'm going to play. And until they can make the next part more enjoyable, I'm just going to keep playing Antiquity. Because, it's kind of like Civ 6 in a way. I remember in the good old days in Civ 6, like, once you knew you'd won a game, like, that's it. Like, I don't need my research labs, bro. The game's won at this point. I'm good. Go next. It's the same sort of thing, right? I'm not just going to I'm not going to sit there and hitting next turn for 40 minutes while I watch everything roll over and we fly off to space. I've got my dopamine. Anyway, we've had some other changes in here as well. Changes to the UI, alignment and spacing, controller-specific stuff, some general changes as well as changes to notifications, text changes. Got changes to narratives and narrative events. Look at this. New narrative events to support the privateer content. Love it. To support the new resources. Absolutely love it. We've got new audio changes. And, of course, the content collection. We haven't even talked about that. So, of course, we've got a new leader, Edward Teach, Blackbeard, as well as the Republic of Pirates. That's an Exploration Age Civ, as far as I'm aware. And we've got Tonga, which is Antiquity. And, of course, you've seen me today playing Tonga behind you. Of course, you can play Tonga as well. You can play this. This game here that we're playing, because, well, this is available now for free. So jump over. I'll leave a link in the description to where you can grab it, the Tides of Power. But in addition to this, we've also got the Ottomans and Iceland that are coming with Saida al-Hura. And that's going to be coming in December 2025. So I was very surprised when this announcement first hit for November 2025. I'm like, damn, dude, that's next week. And, well, yeah. And as you can see, we've also got further additions to that. We've got the Great Lighthouse, which we do actually manage to build in this game, though I don't think you'll probably see it. It's a little bit later on. We've also got the Great Blue Hole, which obviously you would have seen up towards the north. I think we've discovered it by now. So definitely having some lots of new additions here. Other than that, was there anything else that we wanted to talk about? Oh, I think there was. Oh, you've provided... Hold on. Just give me a second here. I'm having a look through... No, never mind. I got excited for a little bit. Actually, we can talk just a little bit about the new wonders and see what they've got for us. What are they cooking? So you got the Great Lighthouse, available in Antiquity. It's got a gold base of 3. I can tell you that right now. And it grants a free merchant when built, which is lovely. The big thing for me is it gives you 15 water trade route range in all settlements and +1 sight to all naval units. That one's a little bit less important. This one's the big one, though, because it means 15 water trade route range might not seem like a lot. Nah, that's a lie. It is a lot, and it seems like a lot. I'll say that right now. It seems like a lot. It is. It's a huge amount, because you got to remember that's 15 water trade route range in all directions for all settlements. So it basically just... I wish I could explain in percentages, but it's just like you can now trade with 60% more cities than what you previously could. Especially, like, this is going to be so powerful on continents, on your archipelagos. Really, really cool. Other than that, we've also got a couple of natural wonders. So just taking a look at that, we've got the Great Blue Hole, 2 science and 4 happiness. Adjacent sea rural tiles receive +2 culture and placed on the coast adjacent to 6 coast tiles. And then we've got the Mapua Vea blowholes, a natural wonder with 2 production and 4 happiness, and +2 culture to all coastal land tiles in the settlement, which is very nice. Impassable, and that's essentially it. So other than that, was there anything else that we wanted to talk about or round out this review with? We've talked about the naval combat, the harbor, the privateer. I think that's pretty much it. I'll leave a link in the description if you want to see more of this. But just in closing, my final thoughts. As you can obviously already tell, this is looking really good. And like I've made, I mean, no secret of how I feel about Civ 7. Obviously, when the game came out, I'm loving it. It's great. But then as you play more, you get a little bit bored, and it felt like the replayability wasn't really there because we kind of knew what we were doing, and every game felt the same. And whether or not that's just the way I play or whether that's the greater population base, it was definitely a way that some people felt. We'll say that much. So the question is going to be about whether or not this is going to help get Civ back on the right path and actually start to make the game feel a little bit better. As with all Civilization games, they get better over time. Each expansion comes out, they add more content, they add more complexity, they add more mechanics, and it starts healing, right? Like, it's natural. When Civ 6 came out, all the people who played Civ 5 were like, Civ 6 is dog shit. And by the end of Civ 6, everybody who said that in the beginning was like, hey man, I've been saying since the beginning, Civ 6 was amazing. And look, I suspect it's probably going to be the same with Civ 7. The devs are going to have to work extra hard for it, but I will say right now, the fact that they're giving this away for free, the fact that there's a 35% sale right now on Steam, the fact that they're changing it this much, this core, this level is wonderful. So yeah, I think from here, like, the main thing for me, and I know that they've already addressed this, the main thing for me is finding a way to make me want to play exploration. And I think that's probably the best way to say it. Find a way to make me want to play exploration. Find a way to make me want to play into the modern era. I don't know how you're going to do it, but there's a part of me that feels like when the game goes from antiquity to exploration or exploration to modern, I feel like it's almost like it's a new game in a sense. And I have so much fun in that early stage. And I think it's like that for all Civ games, right? And it's just that when you've got this defined barrier, this defined border that says, hey, you've now finished the early game. You are now moving to the middle game. And I guess we kind of had that in the sense in Civ 6 with errors, but this feels a lot harder. And I don't know how you're going to reduce that, because the moment that happens, it's kind of like the halftime break. And, you know, like, if your team's up by 60 points at halftime, you're just like, it's all right. We don't have to watch the rest of the game. You probably still watch it. But anyway, you get the idea. Anyway, we'll leave it there as we complete the pyramids. Let's take a look at these yields as we close it out. We got some decent yields here. I'm loving it. Yields get me. Yields get me hard. Anyway, we'll leave it there. We'll catch you in the next one. Thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.